The level of peace and happiness that you're inviting in your life is something that those small minded people will never be able to achieve. You've won. Okay. You've won not because you have proven anything to them, but because you are grateful for who you are. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the channel. I know that this might sound a little bit strange to some people, but what if we just let people think what they want to think about us? What if we just give them the grace and the opportunity and the right to think what they want to think? Imagine this. You live on this magical and beautiful island with crystal clear blue waters that millions of people each year pay thousands to come and swim in and just to, dive in. But yet you are afraid to go into that water because you don't know what they will think of you as you walk in with your floating ring because you're afraid of deep waters. And so you're just so scared, like, what would people think of me? Everyone's in the water, swimming like, they're mermaids. And here I come with my pink floater, unable to swim into the deep waters because I have a fear of drowning. Well, that was me. If you have been following me, you know that I live on the Mediterranean island of Malta and it's surrounded by amazing, amazing, amazing water, beautiful blue seas, crystal clear. The weather is great. So most of the time you can swim for most of the year. And I used to hesitate a lot because I can swim, but I'm scared of the deep sea. I'm scared of drowning. I just really tense up when I get into the water. But besides getting into a panic mode, I think the biggest thing that holds me back is the idea that there are people who will see me struggling or being stiff in the waters and pass judgments on me, make fun of me or whatever it is. And that held me back a lot. And today I want to talk about that. I want to talk about letting go of what people think of you so that you can actually live your life. Now, when I talk about what people think of you, I'm not talking about people that you know, people that you love and care about. I'm not referring to going for a job interview, for example, and caring what the interviewer thinks about you as a candidate. That's not what I'm talking about. That kind of care is actually necessary for survival. Another thing that I'm not talking about is being self-absorbed and self-centered. There's a huge difference between being self-aware and being self-absorbed. I am not condoning behavior that can be seen as assholery, indecent, discriminatory, any of those things that are harmful and disrespectful to people. I'm going to clarify the kind of people that I'm referring to. Two main kinds. People that you do not know and will never have any interactions with. And then people that you do not know, but you might have a casual or passing interaction with. Those are the kind of people that you don't really need to know or care what they think about you. As social beings, most of our actions are governed by outward perspectives of us. We do certain things, we have certain morals because we have to interact and survive with other people in the environment, right? And we collect data. It's the only way that I can successfully have a first interaction with someone and know how to approach them or know how to either censor myself or to properly address someone. When you meet someone for the first time, you are not going to have all of that information and you're just going to call up on any preconceived notions and ideas that you have about that person. And we are all allowed to do so. We are all expected to do so. And nobody's immune to having opinions of other people. We all do it. I do it. I was taking a walk down the promenade the other day and I saw these two young ladies fishing. And the fact that there were two very young ladies fishing in a spot that I hardly, I mean, you will hardly see people fishing there, but very few people. And this is also an activity that you would mostly see males taking part in, at least here in Malta. I came to the conclusion in my mind that these must be foreigners, probably looking for activities to get involved in while they're in Malta, trying to take advantage of the situation, because it is really very calming and soothing. So I just concluded in my mind that they must be foreigners and visitors here, and they're just trying to fill up their time. And that also made me feel like they must be nice ladies, and perhaps they're not into the loud part of Malta. You know, they're not into loudness. They just love the peace and tranquility in life. Now, that's just an assumption that I made, and it has nothing and no bearing whatsoever to do with who they actually are. Maybe they have interest in having a really good time and they love going to parties and having fun. I don't know, you know. And the fact of the matter is that no matter what I thought in that moment of them, nothing was going to change the essence of who they were. Nothing I thought was going to make them stop fishing or fish better. Nothing I thought was going to affect them in one way or the other. Think about it. The brain is like a computer, a supercomputer, and we need data. There's thousands and thousands of data passing through our brains at every second, every moment. And if we want to spontaneously interact with people, we need to draw from this data bank in our head. You know, we gather data from so many things that happen around us, from the things that we see, the videos that we watch, the things that we read. We all have our stereotypes that we fall under, whether we like it or not. You know, there's the stereotype of being a woman, there's the stereotype of your nationality, the stereotype of your color, the color of your skin, the color of even of your eyes. So we need to form these conclusions so that we can better interact with each other. And so that is absolutely fine. And another aspect that is also fascinating is the aspect of cognitive dissonance, where your actions and your beliefs are just completely contradictory to each other. You would have people who would claim that they love God and they love righteousness and they love the goodness in life, yet they are very quick to destroy and mistreat the creation of God. They are disrespectful to the environment. They don't love one another. They don't really care about the future of the next generation to come. So whatever is really in the minds of people, we really do not know, and we have no control over that. And we can only truly just be in charge of that which is under our control, and that is how we choose to live our lives, how we choose to represent ourselves, and how we choose to build up our inner peace. You know, I put out a poll a few days ago, and I'm so happy that the polls are kind of like a hit with my small community, still very small, but I'm really happy and glad that it gets people talking and expressing their minds. And in that poll, I asked what was really important to you right now. And the options were peace, freedom, stability, and growth. And over 60% chose peace in a world right now that is crumbling all around us. One of the ways that we can build inner peace is to stop caring very much about what people think about us, especially people who don't really know us. So we are not living in a defensive manner, because if I care so much about what people think about me, I will always be walking around with a shield, right? With a wall in front of me, trying not to let people in because I feel like they're going to hurt me, because I already think that they're going to judge me. No matter what people think of me, I am who I am unapologetically. And I hate to say this, but I do not owe anyone any explanations. If I'm never going to interact with you, then I don't have to really bother about what you think about me. I can wear that jacket, that pink, purple, yellow jacket that I really like, and I can just go out without feeling like I need to please other people, without feeling the need for external validation, right? So in that sense, I don't care. Now, if I have to interact with you, then of course I might be put in a spot where I have to defend myself. I might be put in a spot where I have to kind of change your mind about who I am. But ultimately, it is up to that person. It is up to whoever it is I'm interacting with to either understand me, try to understand me, or choose to misunderstand me. And if they do choose to misunderstand me, that is not my problem. It is 100% their problem. It's 100% their issue. Because if you are genuinely sure of who you are, if your self-concept is solid, you are not going to be afraid of changing your mind. You're not going to be afraid of entertaining the possibility that you might be wrong about someone, or the possibility that someone might be what you might not be what you thought that they were. But when you yourself are insecure, you will project that insecurity onto others, and you will insist on your point of view, your worldview, whatever it is, you would insist on it, and you would defend it no matter what. And that is just completely their prerogative. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with the essence of you. It has nothing to do with how important you are, your self-worth. It has nothing whatsoever to do with who you are as a human being, how you love, how you interact with people, how you show your strengths and your weaknesses. It has nothing to do with that. You only need to care about the people who are closest to you and who actually have an impact on how you live your life. You only need to care about what they think. So it could be your family, your friends, but it also could be the leaders of your country. You need to care about what they think of you, because it affects your life. They make decisions based on what they think of people, and whatever decisions and regulations and laws they're going to come up with is going to affect your life. So in that sense, yes, you do need to care what they think about you. But it doesn't mean that you have to then conform and rearrange your life to suit them. Then you can get into the role of defending yourself, defending your stance and your beliefs. But otherwise, it's just not worth it. It really isn't. So now I'd like to share with you some ways that I practice detachment in my life that has really helped me overcome my fear of what people think about me. I took down some notes, so I will just read out from my notes. So be aware of your inner unhealthy narratives, the narratives that keep you trapped. For example, if you think about public speaking and that makes your palms sweat, it's most likely because you're afraid of being judged. Like, what would people see? What if I sound like an idiot? What if I sound stupid? So first of all, you would need to work on believing in yourself and believing in who you actually are, and believing in the fact that even if people are to laugh at you, even if people are to judge you, it doesn't directly affect your worth as a person, right? So for example, now when I go to the beach, I take my rubber with me without even thinking about the fact that people might laugh at me, because now I know why I cannot stay in the water. I know that I have a fear of depth. And I know that it is something that I have to work on myself. And I know that the narrative also that Black people cannot swim is a myth, because in Nigeria, we've got the ocean, we've got the Atlantic Ocean, and we have lots and lots of rivers and streams. People who live by the coast, they're able to swim. So that myth that Black people cannot swim is one of the limiting beliefs that I had of myself, that Black people just sink because of our bone density or our muscle density or whatever. But then when I learned how to swim, I realized that it wasn't about that myth of what people thought about me, but how or in what environment I felt comfortable in. So I felt very comfortable if the environment was more controlled. So like in a pool, for example, or if I had people close by that I thought, okay, if anything were to go wrong, I know that I will be rescued, then I would stay in the water, in the ocean. Each person has to find that limiting narrative that is holding them back, and in terms of themselves, and not with regards to what other people think about it. Because at the end, if I do not try to overcome that fear, I'm going to leave with the regret. I am going to leave with the regret. Nobody else will. Whoever is going to laugh at me is going to laugh at me for a moment in that time. I might not even get to see it, and I don't need to see it. I don't need to care or worry about it. And they will move on with their lives. It's just another day. Their brains will not register it as anything important. It would just move on to more important things. And so I have to also do the same. Another way is to just try to live in the moment. So it's like when I did the skydiving, I did think about what people would think of me. I knew what my family and friends thought of me, but I thought also about, when I go there, I know I'm going to be the only person who looks like me. What would they think of me? What would be going on their minds? I used to be that way, but I stopped pre-thinking everything, and I learned to just get things done in the moment. So try to live a little bit more in the moment and less in other people's heads. Okay. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy your feet in the water. If you are afraid of swimming, just go and flap your feet in the water. If you're afraid of what people might think of your fashion sense, try out a few things here and there until you feel comfortable in them, and then just go for it. I've made judgments on people's dressing. I'm guilty of that. I just feel sometimes like some people wear what is not right for their body, but then I really do admire them, because in the end, they like that piece of clothing, and it may or may not seem perfect for their body type, but they wear it anyway. They feel good in it. They feel comfortable in it. And that's what really matters. It has nothing to do with me and what I think, right? So live in the moment. Don't judge lest you be judged. So if you are in a habit of judging people every time, then you automatically would think that people are judging you. I mean, that's logical. If you hate people, you think people hate you. I don't think anyone hates, well, maybe a few people. There's someone I know who obviously hates people but think that people love him. I think you know who I'm referring to. But normal people, regular people, don't go around with hate in their heart. And so they don't expect hate in return, right? So if I'm not expecting to be judged in a certain way, I don't go around judging people. So try to judge less. It doesn't mean that you will completely not judge, because we have to, we do that, and it is normal. But the less you judge, the less you will feel that people are judging you, and the freer you will be, because you are free of judgment of others, and you are not even considering the fact that people are judging you. So you just live in your life. Another thing is that you should practice gratitude. Gratitude for what you have, not for what you don't have yet. The more gratitude that you see in your everyday life, the happier you are, the more peace you invite into your life, and the less you worry about other people, because you are just happy how you are. You know how we talk about competition with other people. We look at Instagram, for example, and we see our friends, our families, or even strangers, and we're like, oh, I wish I could be like that. Or look at how perfect she looks. Look at how perfect his body looks. I want to look that way. And why do we want to look that way? Because we want to impress people. We want validation from other people. But when we are satisfied in what we have, in who we are, in how we are. In this slide, I was going to also mention what other people think can affect us, in the sense of, if we were bullied. When you've been through bullying, you tend to have this mindset of getting back at those who bullied you. But what I see when people react in that way is they are letting the bully define who they are and determine how their life will go. So you have people who are getting into jobs or making so much money or possessing things just because they want to show people that, you see, I am actually better than you, or you see, I arrived, now I'm more powerful than you are, and I'm going to show you, and I'm going to, exact my revenge on you. When many times those people have forgotten you. They didn't have any respect or regard for you in the first place, and many of them have forgotten you. Most of them will never apologize for how they've behaved to you or what they've thought about you, and so by the time you live your life because you think, this is what people think of me, and what people and I'm going to show them that I'm different, or I'm going to show them who I really am, at the end of the day, most of those people will never see who you really are. And even if they do, they will never care. Sometimes they will even judge you even more harshly for it. And in the end, it leaves you feeling empty, I think. And then it's like, so now what? Is this what I really want? And is this what I really want for myself? Right? So if you are just grateful for what you have, how you have it, then there is no competition. The only competition that really matters is you. So if you want to improve for you because you really dig it, go for it. But if you are okay where you are, and it doesn't matter what other people think, it doesn't matter who tries to compete with you, then the level of peace and happiness that you're inviting in your life is something that those small-minded people will never be able to achieve. You've won, okay? You've won not because you have proven anything to them, but because you are grateful for who you are, what you have achieved, and what you are going to achieve, what you're going to be in the future. You're a winner, okay? Finally, what you will have to do is to do the job. If you're going through any kind of trauma, deal with it. Try to deal with it. Find a way to deal with it. If you need to see a therapy, please go do that. If you need to do some meditation, for some people it does work. I've tried meditation. My brain, I don't know, cannot concentrate for more than 5 minutes. But I do find that I feel as if I am a naturally calm person. So meditation, I think I'm already in a meditative state most of the time. I mean, like in a Zen state most of the time. I hardly get angry. So meditation is not for me. But if you are into things like that, meditation, please do it. Yoga, go to the gym, go out for a walk, take time off from stressful situation. Take, like I've said before, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, take a walk out of stressful situations. Treat your body well. Treat your body well. Care for the food that you put into your body, and treat your environment well as well. Appreciate the environment around you. Appreciate nature around you. It really centers you and just lets you know that everything that we experience socially is a human construct, right? And that we are only a tiny part of it all. And when we remove ourselves from those situations temporarily, we can see that much more clearly. We can realign ourselves and try to reset our nervous system, and not get triggered all the time. Or when we do get triggered, we would know how to reduce the triggers or the symptoms of the triggers, and how to better manage the triggers. So here's my final message to you. You have to remember that people who think negatively about you do so because your existence triggers them. And they don't know any other way out of their pain and hurt other than to inflict the pain that they feel inside of them onto you, to project that onto you. And as long as these thoughts remain in their heads, they have no way of affecting you. They have no way of changing the course of your life. And so take this from me. Get out of their heads get into your mind and live life for yourself. Invite peace into your life. That with peace comes stability. With peace comes joy. With peace comes appreciation for life. With peace comes the true meaning of being human. So, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with anyone who you think this message might be useful for. And until the next video, I remain Isabella. Ciao, ciao.